Troegs Brewing Company, Mad Elf, ale brewed with honey and cherries once a year. Out of Hershey, Pennsylvania, 11% alcohol. Let's give it a shot. So I picked this beer up in a variety pack that Troegs had. More Christmas-based, but specifically, I picked it up for this beer. It was all over my social media. I've had Mad Elf in the past, but I never documented it, and it's been years since I've had it. That being said, I had a vast amount of expectations for this beer, and I can honestly tell you, I think they were met. But I think they were met right neck and neck. I think my expectations were here, and they just reached it. Like trying to get that last pull-up. Get your chin above the bar. No? Okay. Either way, the honey, the cherries, you taste it. It's very strong. It's very prominent. The ale, it's bitter. It's got a bite, but it's not overwhelming. I feel like the cherries, the honey, almost, and don't take this as an insult, but almost very cough droppy. If you get one of those good cough drops with that goo, that gel, that liquid in the middle, it's kind of like that. As if you took a cherry one and a honey one, combined it, it has that kind of effect, that almost taste, that almost thickness. You do get this fruit honey flavor that's very nice, very enjoyable, and it just sits just above that ale flavor. But it's, don't get me wrong, it's a heavy beer. It looks light. The fruit's supposed to be refreshing. The honey's supposed to give it this nice aroma. But it's a heavy beer. It's full of flavor from all three aspects, the honey, the cherries, and the ale. But the 11% alcohol, you're going to feel it. You're going to taste it. It's not going to be that bourbon barrel aged beer imperial effect that you get from that high alcohol content, but there's going to be something slightly after the almost aftertaste that kind of gives you that whole lingering, okay, that tasted great, but I just drank alcohol. That kind of effect. It's not going to be a big bite or a lingering kind of pungent flavor, but it's going to be one of those like, oh, there's alcohol in that. And quite a bit. But it's good. It really is good. But you really, be safe. Consider the alcohol content. It's not a joke. It's high. 11% alcohol. The cherries, the flavor for the cherries is nice. The honey complements it really well. The ale, I'm really happy that the ale is not over-exaggerated in this beer. Like, Troegs is a very IPA, ale-friendly beer, craft beer company. But this one is slightly toned back, I think. Or maybe they just added enough flavor to make it disappear behind the flavor notes. That being said, my drinkability, it is a heavier beer, but it feels light. But because of the alcohol content, I'd have to limit this to maybe 2 max. The flavor, the cherries are really nice. It is this almost maraschino cherry kind of flavor, but the honey just kind of makes it blend and kind of thicken up a little bit. It gives you that kind of effect. But I think they're really nice, but it's that alcohol content and, again, the overwhelmingness of all 3 flavors that are going to make you stop at 2. Hopefully. Maybe just me. I feel like this is absolutely what it says. Mad Elf. It's a Christmas time beer. You do get spices. There are quite a bit of spices in this. You do kind of get that warm feeling aside from the alcohol, but it does give you that festive kind of Christmas holiday spirit kind of feel to it when you're drinking this beer. On a scale of 1 to 10, though, this is an 8. It's a solid 8. As much as I wanted to give it a 9, I can't. I got to dial it back because you do get a slight aftertaste when you're drinking this beer. Very slight, but it's there. It lingers until you take the next sip. And that and the high alcohol content and the limitability that you can actually drink this beer, not only during seasonal times, but the quantity, that also brings it back a little bit too. But this is a really good, solid beer. It lives up to the name. It lives up to the hype. Lives up to the social media presence that it deserves. And it's a good beer, and I really recommend that if it's in your area, please go out and get Troegs Brewing Company. Mad Elf, ale brewed with honey cherries once a year, 11% alcohol, out of Hershey, Pennsylvania. Good job.